Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and tonight I'm excited to share with you my unboxing and first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy A6. Now, this is a device that's actually been available internationally since May, but it's just now coming to the United States in November. And this is a mid-range offering from Samsung, and the good news is it's available on just about every major carrier in the United States. So Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, Metro by T-Mobile, and Boost Mobile, and there may be others as well, but those are the ones I know for sure will be carrying the A6. So pretty much all of them that matter will be carrying this. So what is the price point? Well, obviously that depends on the carrier, but the lowest one I'm aware of is Metro by T-Mobile's carrying it for $300 full retail, up to I've seen $420 from Sprint, and $400 seems to be pretty much the norm for this device. Now, at that price point, I honestly think this is a pretty hard sell. The Metro by T-Mobile offering for $300, a little bit more reasonable, but for $400, this thing is kind of a hard sell, and we'll talk about why that is in just a little bit. However, let me mention two things, or maybe three things, three areas where you may want to consider picking it up. So the A6 is available internationally unlocked on Amazon, so you can see right here, $205. Now, a couple things worth mentioning about this internationally unlocked version. Number one, it is GSM only, so it's not going to work on Verizon or Sprint. So just a heads up there. It is a dual SIM version, and as far as I know, the US version will not be dual SIM, but I could be wrong on that, but this one is dual SIM. And you're not going to get a warranty on it. So you can get a Square Trade warranty on the side if you want, but the international version will not come with a warranty. So that's $205. The next one where I would maybe consider picking it up, and this one actually is not a current deal. Actually, yes, it is. AT&T, so you can see their full retail price is $420. But if you come down here into this fine print, somewhere in here it says that if you get it on AT&T Next, where's it at? It's going to be $5 a month, which that's pretty darn good. I mean, you can't beat $5 a month for this phone. So that's definitely worth it on AT&T Next. And then the other one, and like I mentioned with Metro by T-Mobile, it's going to be, where is it at? $300. However, this is huge. On Black Friday, so of course we got Christmas coming up soon, Black Friday, this phone is going to be $200 off on Metro by T-Mobile, and it's going to be available for $99. And that's for a port-in, so of course you have to be switching over to Metro, but that is a killer deal for this phone. $99, this is a no-brainer. And even for $200, the unlocked version, I think, is kind of a no-brainer as well. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's talk about the specs. Now, this is, as you can see, the Spanish version of the specs, but you can see we have a Super AMOLED display. It's a 5.6-inch display. It is HD+, which means it's actually 720p. It is that infinite display, and we'll take a look at it in just a little bit. We have a metal build. We have an octa-core processor, and it is a Samsung Exynos processor. It's a 64-bit processor clocked at 1.6 gigahertz and 5.6-inch display. I already mentioned that. We have dual cameras, so well, really just one front, one back camera, so both are 16 megapixel cameras. We have a 32 gig storage option, and then 3 gigs of RAM. That's pretty much it. So let's just get to it and unbox this thing. So here it is. Alright, so we got the phone all set up, so I wanted to go ahead and take a look at what you get in the box and also take a look at the phone itself. So first things first, it comes with a micro USB cable, which is a big disappointment, I feel like, for 2018. A phone that's $300 to $400 probably should have Type-C. And then it also comes with a Samsung charger, but unfortunately it's not the fast charging brick that you get with the higher end Samsung devices. Now, I'm not sure if the US version will come with the headphones like you see here, but this one did come with some Samsung headphones. This is actually the first time I've seen headphones that look like this one, but they do have a microphone, so that's cool. We of course get the SIM removal tool, the box, the phone itself, which we're going to set over here for now, and then also the quick start guides and all that as well. So now let's go ahead and take a look around the phone. So on the back we have our 16 megapixel camera and our fingerprint sensor and flash. Then we have some antenna bands here, that metal design which I really like, and Samsung branding here. And then along the bottom, of course, we have our micro USB charging. We have our microphone and then a headphone jack, so thumbs up for the headphone jack there. On the top, I don't really see much of anything except that antenna band. Along this would be the right hand side, we have our speaker, so that's interesting. Speaker over here like the J3 and the J7 phones. We have our power button and nothing else over there. And over here we have our volume rocker. Thankfully there's no Bixby button, so shout out to Samsung for not including a Bixby button over here. I like that actually. And then we have our SIM tray. Now this is of course the internationally unlocked version, so we have dual SIM and then also a slot for micro USB. Now I'm assuming that if you get the US version, it's just going to come with one tray and not the second tray there. But I haven't actually seen the US version of this device. So up front we have our 16 megapixel camera, also our earpiece and a front facing flash, so cool front facing flash there, and then a 5.6 inch Super AMOLED display, and it's 720p stretched out, basically HD plus is what we get here. Now just as a quick comparison in terms of some other phones that are similar in size, now these are both very one-handed friendly phones. This is the Xiaomi Mi A2 Lite. Very similar phone in terms of the size. You can see bezels along the bottom are basically identical, but along the top this one of course has the notch, whereas this one has the infinity display. So this one has a 5.84 inch display versus a 5.6 inch. So really almost identical in terms of the size of the phones though. And one other thing I should mention here is that this has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which of course is non-removable. So we'll have to test that out. And then over here I have the iPhone XR. Now one thing to mention here in terms of the iPhone XR, this has like 844 pixel density, I believe, or 844, not pixel density, but 844p in terms of the display resolution. This one has 720p, but this one is Super AMOLED versus an LCD display. And this one over here, I should mention, also has an LCD display, but this one's 1080p, so a little bit better in terms of the pixel density. But anyways, that's a quick look at the phone itself. Now if we go up here, swipe up, you can see basically we have the standard Samsung experience here. No different from what you'd get from any other Samsung phone, so that's actually, you know, depending on whether you like Samsung devices or not. You can see in here in terms of software, basically all the same software you'd get if you had this Samsung Galaxy S9. I'm going to do a full review of the software here, but you can see I do have a software update. But if I go in here, let's see if it has it here. Right now it's running Android 8.0. So that software update I know is definitely just a security patch here. And it's just updating it to the newest security patch. But in terms of the software, let's see here. No, not the battery. So it did say 3000 milliamp hour battery there. But in terms of the software, you can see Android 8.0 running Samsung Experience 9.0. And I'm going to go ahead and run a couple of Geekbench scores and see what we get in terms of Geekbench and maybe compare that up to some other phones that are similar. Alright, so I went ahead and ran the Geekbench 4 score here on the Samsung Galaxy A6, and I wanted to compare it up with some similarly priced phones, all running different processors. So over here on the left I have the ZTE Blade Max View. That one scored a multi-core score of 2606. That one's running the Snapdragon 435 processor. Over here with the Samsung Exynos 7870, this is the A6, you can see a multi-core score of 3626. Now in case you don't know what this score means, basically it's the performance. It's how well this phone will perform in day-to-day tasks like gaming, how well it handles social media, going from app to app, things like that. So the higher the score, the better in this case. So over here, this is the Cubot King Kong 3. Now this one's running a MediaTek Helio P23 processor, and you can see this one is about 4,000. Now this is a $160 phone, very rugged. And then over here, this is running the Snapdragon 625 processor. This is the Xiaomi Mi A2 Lite, and this is a $160 phone roughly, and you can see this one scores the highest. And there's no question to me that out of all these four phones, this one definitely is the best performing phone. However, with that being said, all of these phones really handle their own. They do a fairly decent job. All of them have either 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. So these two have, actually, yes, these two have 3 gigs of RAM. These two both have 4 gigs of RAM. So they will handle day-to-day tasks a little bit better than these two over here. But in general, they all do a fairly good good job. They're all kind of in that budget to mid-range price. So as low as like 160, 160. This one, like I said, is about $300 to $400, and then over here, this one's $200 right now. But anyways, quick look at what you can expect from the A6. So it's going to be a decent performer, but certainly not the best at this price point. Alright, so before I share my first impressions of the A6, I want to go ahead and take a listen to that speaker. Now this is just one single top firing speaker, and here we go. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and say that honestly, I kind of like the speaker. I definitely like the location. It's definitely better, in my opinion, than a bottom firing speaker, and certainly better than a rear firing speaker back here, which a lot of phones used to do. But overall, my kind of first impressions of this phone, if you can pick this up unlocked for $200, I think it's going to be a good seller, and I think it's going to be a very solid device if you want a nice one-handed device that's probably going to take some pretty good pictures. Now, again, we're going to be doing a lot more coverage of this phone, so stay tuned for coverage of the front-facing camera, rear-facing camera, and a full review of this device. But I think honestly it's going to be a solid mid-range device. Now it's going to sell very well, honestly, in my opinion. It's probably going to sell well in the United States now that it's available on every major carrier, because it's a mid-range Samsung device that a lot of people have been looking for, and it definitely beats the J series, and it's cheaper than the S series, and certainly cheaper than the Note series. And I think this is going to be a phone that will definitely get a lot of love here in the United States. Now, with that being said, at $400, would I recommend buying this phone? Probably not. If you can pick it up on Metro PCS for that $100 Black Friday deal, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. So anyways, quick first thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy A6. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.